Across the stars, their greatest leaders gathered to decide the future of the alien era.
Before building their new civilization, they searched for the perfect place, where nature, energy, science, and technology could exist together. In Andromeda, their first settlement became something greater, a magnificent capital at the heart of their growing civilization. They had built a powerful civilization, but their curiosity never ended. Now, their scientists were searching.
The location was chosen. Now, the first foundations were laid, the beginning of a city that would.
Trade had created new connections, and those connections brought distant civilizations closer than ever before.
As their network reached farther into the galaxy, new alliances were formed to keep the growing worlds connected. As commerce expanded across the stars, a new financial network emerged, giving their civilization. Now, their ships carried not only goods, but ambassadors, traveling between worlds to build lasting connections.
At the heart of this new economy stood a single network, linking worlds together through knowledge, technology, and trade. Trade transformed the distant world into a thriving gateway, where cultures, technologies, and resources converged beneath one expanding civilization.
Across the stars, every exchange brought new knowledge, new resources, and new opportunities for their civilization.
Commerce reshaped their cities, turning every major world into a meeting place for civilizations from across the stars. As their cities grew, so did their ambitions. Trade connected distant systems, transforming their young world into a center of galactic commerce. Trade became the lifeblood of their expanding civilization, connecting distant worlds, exchanging resources, and opening new paths across Andromeda.
Every ship carried more than cargo. It carried the connections that held an expanding civilization together. As their empire grew beyond one world, the aliens needed a new way to govern an entire civilization among the stars.
The journey had reached its destination. For the first time, the aliens stood upon a world completely unknown to their civilization. Then, their greatest discovery appeared, a mysterious world with the conditions for life. The aliens prepared to explore it.
Beneath the city, they created its heart, a powerful energy core designed to bring their new civilization to life.
Maintain tractor beams at full power.
The component is reaching apex. Prepare for docking. Locking sequence initiated.
Far beyond our Milky Way, the aliens had made the Andromeda Galaxy their new home. Here, a completely new civilization began to flourish. Soon, the city needed more than buildings. The aliens created a transportation network that could connect their entire new world.
To power their growing civilization, the aliens created an energy system capable of supplying an entire world.
From distant worlds, they gathered to shape a shared future, and the foundations of a truly galactic civilization were taking form.
Across the galaxy, ambassadors arrived.
Trade did more than move resources. It carried knowledge, allowing discoveries from distant worlds to accelerate their civilization. Beyond their homeworld, new trade centers were rising, turning distant planets into vital links in a growing galactic civilization. As knowledge spread between worlds, so did the ability to protect and improve the lives of their people. Beyond commerce and technology, their civilization was becoming a home for countless lives, an immense city reaching toward the stars.
With worlds now connected across the stars, transportation became the pulse of their civilization.
As their civilization expanded, education became the foundation of progress, preparing every new generation for life among the stars.
Connected worlds shared their greatest discoveries, turning knowledge into technology and technology into a new era of progress.
The expedition began. An entire fleet crossed the stars, carrying the brightest minds of the aliens. For the aliens, survival was no longer enough. Their new civilization transformed everyday life into a world of comfort, beauty, and luxury. As their population grew, the aliens transformed agriculture with biotechnology, producing enough food to feed an entire civilization. While scientists discovered new possibilities, the engineers turned those ideas into reality, building cities larger and more advanced than ever before. One space city was only the beginning. Their orbital civilization expanded until entire communities surrounded the planet. The journey was over. Now, the aliens had to build their first home on this mysterious world. In Andromeda, medicine had reached extraordinary heights. Their doctors could detect disease, repair damage. In their new home, knowledge became their greatest strength. Every generation was trained to explore, invent, and build the future.
When darkness covered the planet below, their civilization became a ring of light among the stars.
Their civilization was no longer limited to planets. They built an entire city in deep space, creating a new home among the stars. Distance was no longer a barrier. Their transportation network connected every city, every district, and eventually the entire planet. Soon, the aliens connected the entire planet to orbit. Their cities, spaceports, and orbital worlds became one enormous transportation network.
To connect their worlds to space, they built a structure that reached from the surface to the stars.
Space was no longer empty. The aliens transformed their orbital ring into a second world, a city among the stars. They refused to leave nature behind. In orbit, they created oceans, forests, and entire ecosystems among the stars. Then they brought the oceans into orbit. Beneath the artificial waves, an entirely new alien city began to flourish. They had built more than cities in space. They were creating living ecosystems, bringing an entire world of nature into orbit. They had harvested the power of their star. Now they used that energy to build something even more extraordinary, a city among the stars. Their civilization needed more energy than any planet could provide. So they turned toward the greatest power source in their system, their star.
Their planets were no longer separate worlds. They had connected the entire system into one enormous alien civilization. Now they built rings around their worlds, turning planetary orbit itself into a place where millions of aliens could live.
They did not stop at discovery. One by one, the new worlds became homes, and the alien era expanded beyond a single planet. Each new world became part of something greater. Soon, the entire star system functioned as one connected alien civilization. Then they opened a gateway through space itself. For the aliens, even the vast distances between stars were becoming meaningless. One world was no longer enough. Their civilization had grown so powerful that they began creating entire planets for their future generations.
To give their new worlds a sun, the aliens created something extraordinary, a star of their own.
They had conquered one world. Now they attempted something unimaginable. They would build an entire solar system of their own.
They were no longer simply discovering planets. They had learned to create them. Across the stars, their greatest leaders gathered to decide the future of the alien era. Soon, even the distance between worlds became just another road for the alien era. What began as a small lunar settlement had become another great city of the alien era.
The moon had become their second home. Now, a massive spaceport connected it to the rest of their growing civilization.
As their empire grew beyond one world, the aliens needed a new way to govern an entire civilization among the stars.
The moon was no longer a barren world. It had become a second home, a shining city beneath the stars. Even on their moon, the aliens refused to live without nature. They created forests, rivers, and life where none had existed before.
They had conquered the moon. Now they gave it something it had never possessed: a magnificent ocean. As their civilization expanded across worlds, they built a planetary defense network powerful enough to protect everything they had created.
As their civilization expanded across worlds, they built a planetary defense network powerful enough to protect everything they had created. Beyond commerce and technology, their civilization was becoming a home for countless lives, an immense city reaching toward the stars.
With worlds now connected across the stars, transportation became the pulse of their civilization. As their network reached farther into the galaxy, new alliances were formed to keep the growing worlds connected.
Trade had created new connections, and those connections brought distant civilizations closer than ever before.
Alien Era Part 2 ends here, but their greatest journey has only begun. Subscribe for Part 3.